We are recording. You're on candid camera. I see Linda coming in. Hello, Linda. She's not
Hello
in yet.
there. Hello there.
Hello. Are you driving?
I am.
Yeah, okay. Well, please don't hurt yourself.
I'm pretty good at doing this. It seems like I do this a lot.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's get started. I think we're going to have a few more people. At least 4 more people signed up today, so we'll see where that goes. Does anybody want to start? Let me just ask you if you have any questions or anything that's burning on your mind that you'd like to talk about what we did yesterday before we started anything new. Anybody? No?
I haven't had a chance to go through everything from yesterday because I've been working all day. I just got done. So
Who was that talking?
that was Linda.
Linda, okay, yeah. Well, you just joined today too, Linda, didn't you?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
right.
got on. I was on the Facebook page and started, downloaded the document and what have you. But I've been working, so I didn't have time to really listen to yesterday's.
Were you able to find both the document and the video from yesterday?
I found the video. That's the part I haven't had a chance to review. I got the document downloaded and printed. So.
Okay. Well, I would strongly suggest that you do that, and the reason is that probably the most important video of the entire 5 days is the one we did yesterday.
Lynn, you got to start recording this.
I did.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Thank you, but I am.
I'm sorry.
No. Please don't be sorry, because it's a mistake.
I know it's a mess if you don't.
And it's
reminders are good.
And it's a mistake that I've made more than one time, because I tend not to turn on the recording till the very last moment, and the reason for that is that people that are watching the replay don't have to watch or sit through minutes of,
I'll just go upstairs.
Call it whatever you want to call it, foreplay, and I don't edit the videos; they go up as they are. So, because it just takes way too much time to load them up into an editor and edit them. So I try not to turn on the recording too soon. Okay, Carolee, hi. Okay. So let me talk about another aspect of goal setting. Who's heard of SMART goals? Okay, so SMART is an acronym. So who knows what the S stands for? Anybody? Okay.
I think it was sustainable.
Sustainable? That's a good guess. It's
Specific.
actually.
What about
start?
Specific.
Who said specific?
Yeah, it's specific.
Yeah, winner, specific.
Yeah.
So the concept of SMART goals is some thoughts about how to set goals. The S, in fact, does stand for specific. And the truth is, that's really where we started in yesterday's conversation, when I started talking about why New Year's resolutions generally don't work. One of the major factors with New Year's resolutions is they tend to be very general, non-specific. I want to lose weight. Okay, fine, you lost a pound. Is that good? I want more money. Here's $1. That's not what I had in mind. Okay, well, what did you have in mind? So in order to achieve a goal, we want to make the goal be very specific. So for example, let's say we're setting a health goal for 2021. And maybe our health goal is, I have an ideal weight that I would like to achieve. So it's a very specific number. I want to weigh, in my case, I could arguably lose 5 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds. I'm not fat, but like many men, I tend to put my extra beers right in my belly, and they stay there. They'll never leave. So if I were to set a goal for myself, a weight goal, it would be exactly that. It would be, I want to achieve my ideal weight of 160 pounds, and I want to get there by, I put a date on it, a time, and then I'd put a action plan behind it. What am I going to do to get there? And this is where the idea of, I'm going to go to the gym more often in 2021. This is where the idea of going to the gym more often falls apart, because people say they're going to go to the gym, but they really don't have a plan, a goal, a vision for what they want to accomplish. So, it's easy to go to the gym 2 or 3 or 4 times, look in the mirror, see the same old flub and say, it's not working, and quit. And it becomes an excuse. So goals want to be specific. So when you set your 3-year goal yesterday, I'm going to ask you now to reflect on that. And did you set a very specific goal for what it is you want to accomplish? Or did you set a general goal? And I see some heads bobbing up and down. So hopefully that means you've set a specific goal. Anybody want to take on the M? What does M stand for?
Measurable.
Measurable, absolutely. So back to I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lose weight. My goal is to achieve my ideal weight of, let's say, 155 pounds. So that's a very specific and a very measurable idea. I'm going to do it by April 1st. Fine. On April 1st, I can get on the scale and I can measure the result. And I either made it or I didn't make it. There's no ifs, buts about it. I can measure it, very specific. So specific, measurable. A, what's the A stand for?
Attainable.
Attainable. So what does that mean? So let's see, none of us are very grossly overweight here. So my overweight example isn't a good one, but I'll use it anyhow. Let's pretend, for example, that I was grossly overweight and I weighed 200 pounds. Okay. And for me, that would be grossly overweight. If I say I'm going to lose 50 pounds by February 1st, that would not be realistic. That would be unattainable. That would be very, very, very difficult to attain. And so if you set goals that are basically unachievable, unattainable, then your brain isn't going to let you work on it. It's going to just stop you. It's going to keep telling you, that's not realistic. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to fail. You can't make that happen. So we got to set goals that are achievable, that are reasonably achievable. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be a stretch, but they should be achievable. So what is, again, reflecting on your 3-year goal that we're starting with, is it something that realistically is achievable in 3 years? And, so I'm not going to say this isn't realistic, but I'm going to say for most of it isn't. We have people, somebody asked me a minute ago if we were all in iBoomerang, and the answer is no, we're not. But for those of us who are, and other network marketing companies for that matter, we have people that are earning $1 million a month. Okay. So if I put down a goal that says I want to be earning $1 million a month by 3 years from now, I really have to ask myself if that's a realistic goal for me. Now, it might be a very realistic goal for Johnny Wimbrey, okay? He's probably already earning that kind of money. I suspect he is. But is it realistic for me, given my lifestyle and what I want to do and where I want to put my energy? And the answer is, quite frankly, no. It's not only not realistic, it's not even something that I really care about. It's not a goal that's a goal that would turn me off, not turn me on. Because I want to go water skiing, snow skiing, hiking, backpacking, camping, and scuba diving. I don't want to spend 24/7, 366 for the next, or 365 for the next 3 years, nothing but building an income stream. It's not, for me, that's not realistic. Sylvie, did you begin to ask something?
Oh, I just wanted to say that he's doing that for 20 years.
Yeah. And that's wonderful. If that's what he wants to do, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's great. It's a great man, a great mentor.
Yeah.
I have 25 years experience in my profession. I'm an expert in my profession. So
And what's your profession?
I'm a landscape architect, project manager.
Okay. Awesome.
So I'm an expert in my field because I have gained the experience.
Yeah.
So I started like this year in January, and first of all, it wasn't to build anything. It was just to travel the world, because I turned 50 a few weeks ago, and my goal was to next year take a year off and just like travel the world with iBoomerang. With the iGo platform. So, but every week I started to learn about the network marketing and build up and learn about my fears and build my confidence. So maybe if we would have all 20 years of experience, we would be millionaires, maybe,
Well, and I think it depends on what you want to accomplish. I truly believe that, what do I believe? I believe that we could, for those of you who aren't in iBoomerang, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use iBoomerang as an example, but it doesn't matter because it's really true of any network marketing company. It's not just iBoomerang. But I truly believe that in an 18-month to 2-year period, you could become, for example, you could become a diamond. That's not going to make you a millionaire, but it's going to get you, an awfully, not gosh darn nice income a month, in the $20,000 a month sort of region. That's not going to make you a millionaire. I think that in 3 to 5 years, you could become a millionaire, anyone who wanted to. And let's go backwards. If I were 20 years old, I knew a fraction of what I know today, or maybe even 30 or 40 years old, I'd be, yeah. Now, so just so you know, I was a millionaire in 2008, 2007. I had a $5 million business. I owned the business outright, free and clear. It was a flight school. We had 30 airplanes. The airplanes were financed, but the school wasn't. I owned the school free and clear. So I've been there. I know what it's like to be a millionaire. I'm not there today because the economy collapsed in 08. If you go through my whole history, you'll see what happened to me. I ended up in 2013 basically penniless and starting over again, starting from scratch. After the economy collapsed and a lawsuit took everything I had, except the only thing the lawsuit didn't take was the shirt off my back, and they tried for that. Long story. I won't bore you with it. So I've been there, and I've lost it, and I'm on my way back up again. But my personal goal is not to get to millionaire status. That's not where I'm interested in. For those of you some of you already know how old I am. For the rest of you, I may shock you. I'm 75. And so there's a realistic, and could this be a limiting belief? And I ask myself that frequently, but 75, realistically, my life expectancy could be 20, 25 years. It's probably not much more than that. And do I want to spend 3 years, 5 years getting to millionaire status again, or do I want to go scuba diving? And the answer is very simple. I want to go scuba diving, and I want to be earning enough money to support my lifestyle. and help my daughter and help baby elephants in Africa and some other things. There are other things that I want to do, but that uh, doesn't require being a diamond. It doesn't require being a millionaire. It just requires having a few thousand extra dollars a month to spend on things. So, I mean, for me, that's where I want to be. So, each of you is an individual, and the younger you are, and I said this yesterday. I think I said it, maybe not. The younger you are, the easier it is to get started with this stuff. And maybe it was one of my coffee with Lens that I said it, but as we get older, there's a real question. If we know unrealistically, I mean, unequivocally, we know that our years are limited. We know
Numbered.
that they're finite. We know that they're numbered. And the question is, what do we want to do with that?
Fine. Mhm.
I'm there at Len. I'm right there with you.
I think, yeah. So, I mean, so for each of us, it's an individual decision what it is we want to do and what we want to set our goals at, right?
Mhm. Is that what the R is realistic?
Yes, realistic. That's what the R is, realistic. And again, I think realistic is defined by each one of us as an individual. What's important to you, and then what's the T?
Time.
Time. It's often said that a plan without, or a goal without a plan and a schedule is just wishful thinking. So we got to put time on. So we put 3 years in. But 3 years is really an arbitrary number too. You could do a 1 year, you could do a 5 year, you could do a 10-year plan, you could do whatever it is you want to do. What's important to you? So those are some things to consider when we set our goals. And then as we back our goals down, we go from 3 years down to 1 year. And then from 1 year, we want to come down to the 90-day plan. What are we going to do for the next 90 days? We want to keep all those things in mind. What is realistic in the next 90 days? What do we want to accomplish? And I would suggest that what you want to accomplish is task oriented. It's not end result oriented. It's task oriented. How many people do you want to show the plan to every day? How many new friends do you want to make? Or whether you're using Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you're using to find people to talk to. How many people are you going to talk to every day? For me, I think that's the thing we can control. In a 90-day, for example, a 90-day plan, the thing we can each control as individuals is what our activities are. What we cannot control is the outcome of those activities. So we can put our 90-day plan together. We can say, let's say for example, my goal is to be making $10,000 by the end of the year, 2021, $10,000 a month. So for the next 90 days, I'm going to talk to 5 people a day. At the end of 90 days, I can evaluate that and I can say, okay, I've been talking to 5 people a day. How many new people that I bring into my organization? What are they doing, et cetera, et cetera. And then I can say, okay, given the result of my 90-day effort and given my goal to have a $10,000 a month income by the end of the year, what adjustments do I have to make? So at the end of our 90 days, we'll evaluate what we're doing, and then we'll see what adjustment we have to make to go into the next 90 days. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you see if our activities are getting us towards our goal, and if they're not, there might not be the right activities, or you might have to add more or readjust it or.
Exactly. But realistically, the only way to know, and I'm going to suggest this, the only way to know the answer to that question is to do it for a long enough period of time that you can realistically measure the result.
Mhm.
And I say that because so many people get into this business and they do something for a week or two. I mean, people come into the business with the idea that they've got a list of 5 people that they're gonna talk to, all 5 of them tell them no, and they say, this shit doesn't work, I quit. Well, it doesn't work if you do that. So you gotta stay the course long enough to really make an evaluation as to what it is that's really going on. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Maggie,
Yes.
what do we do with you? Because I know what's your primary objective?
Well,
Are you willing to talk a little bit about what you're trying to
yeah,
accomplish?
I am not in really a multi-level per se at this point.
Correct.
I do.
That's why I singled you out. I think
No,
everybody,
I'm singled out.
but I think everybody else, is everybody else here in Boomerang? Is there anybody who isn't? Oh,
No, I'm-
okay, Kim, Betty isn't. Okay. So they're different. So I don't want to,
Well, what's happened is I was working on a book and I had it all ready to go. And then this last year, towards the end of last year, I ended up having to visit my daughter. You know, we have family things going on. And
Right.
This year I spent more time back in Missouri than here. And then I played catch up. And then with the pandemic and everything, it's just put a crimp in everything I've been doing. So this year I'm really getting back on focus. And what was good about the time lapse of the year or more is that it gave me the realization I still have to add 1 more chapter to my book. And so that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to get that uploaded. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have another source of income to become self-reliant. I know you say you don't get much from a book, but it actually gives me credibility as an expert in this field.
oh yeah, absolutely. That's all and that's what a book does. It
Yeah.
gives you that authority. It doesn't pay the bills.
Right.
Right,
And,
right.
you know, my idea this last year was I was going to go to events and stuff, and then I was going to market, you know, these supplements as well. And of course, that didn't work out. We are on a pretty busy corner. People kind of cut through, and there's a lot of traffic. And we have a little bubble trailer. This may sound dumb. I've got a tower garden. I'm going to grow vegetables and stuff. I'm going to sell them. I'm going to have my book, and it's going to be Maggie G Organics. And then I'm going to sell my supplements as well. And that's going to give me the ability to put some money away to purchase an RV or something so that I'm going to be self-sufficient if something happens to my other partner. And, you know, it's not the networking thing, but what I was going to do is while I'm sitting there with nobody showing up, virtually nobody, I can be doing blogs and working the social media online at the same time. So it's like double duty. So, you know, I've been racking my brain to try to figure out, you know, what I'm going to do, but that's probably where it's headed.
It's a good plan. I had a flower shop like 20 years ago, and when I finished university, I had no job. So I started a flower shop so people can come to me instead of me running after people.
Yeah.
So I was selling flowers at the same time people were.
Yeah, and I thought, right,
So
and
that's a good
I thought
plan.
with the COVID, there's so many people that, you know, food is going to be, you know, a little bit more scarce to get. And these tower gardens, they grow, you know, they're like tall stuff and they would be organic. And so I'd be able to, you know, fill in a need for people in the community. And
So-
it wouldn't cost any more being where we're located.
So can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Are you open to coaching?
Yes, of course I am.
Get the damn book published. You don't need another chapter. Every time you have this conversation with me, you delay the book because you're adding another chapter. Think about the last couple of years. How many more chapters have you added?
I haven't added it. That's the whole thing. It's all been on hold. I haven't had the opportunity. Well,
Just
I
publish it.
haven't made the opportunity.
Just get it done. Publish the book. And because you can always do volume 2. You can always do a revision of the book a year or 2 from now. But the book has been consuming you just because, you see, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
Yeah.
Just consider that.
You can always have a second edition.
That's exactly right.
You can always put "to be continued" on the last page
Yeah.
That's cute.
when I have time.
Oh, so anyhow, that's just a thought. I mean, and as you say, as you realize, the book itself is not going to make you a lot of money. What it does is it builds your credibility. If books made money, I'd be a friggin' millionaire 6 times over. I got 15 books published in different forms. Most of them are short ebooks. Some of them are real paperbacks and et cetera. They're all self-published. But just a thought, because that would take an enormous amount of pressure off you too. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the last chapter is just kind of like a little summary type thing. It's not a very, it's not going to take much time. It's just that I don't know what's happening with the pandemic, but I have just not been able to focus. I don't know what it is. It's just weird.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, it's a struggle, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah.
And you know me, I'm a go-getter. And for me to just be kind of floundering, that's not my style.
So what is your 1-year goal?
Well, the 1-year goal is to make enough money that I can be self-sufficient if something happens to my partner. Because this house is not mine and I need to be able to support myself. You know, if the pandemic took them, I'd be on the street. I have a modest income, not enough. And I know there's a lot of people in my position. There's a lot of people.
Well, I don't want to drill down deeper into details.
Yeah.
But it seems to me, and I'll just leave this for now. And let's have a private conversation. But it seems to me that getting the book out of the way would really facilitate you getting on with the things you want to get done.
You could add Zants with your vegetables.
Add what?
Zants, it's one of our line of products. Yeah, you could add Zants. You should talk with Len. There's stuff that you could add selling with your vegetables. You see, that for me, it was easier when before the pandemic, because what I was doing is I was sitting with my colleagues at the end of the day, and I was saying, okay, go on this website and I'm going to show you, I go because I know they were travelers, but sitting home for me and on Messenger or on Facebook, because people, they talk to you, but after 5 minutes, they just don't answer again.
Yeah.
So
They're your friends, but they're not friendly enough, or they're not actual customers. Yeah. And it's hard. You can spend a lot of time on Facebook and
I spend my whole summers every weekend sitting here, chatting with people. And so at one point I said, okay, that's enough. So I need people. I'm a people person. So.
Okay, let's get back to setting goals. Let's get back.
I've had that's kind of important in the way we're going to set our goals, because if you don't see people and you're like me, a people person, so it's hard to, for me, it's hard to make friends online, because everybody thinks that you're gonna
No.
scam people, or this is something wrong, or
So-
whatever. But honestly, for me, it's just to help people to
Most
do
of you
it.
can probably still hear me. I froze up.
Yeah, you froze.
Yeah, I can hear you.
My screen is froze right now.
Oh, no.
It'll come back.
We can hear you.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Okay, I think we need to move on to somebody else.
yeah.
I don't
So-
want to take the whole show here.
Yeah, so does anybody else want to share where they are with the planning process that we went through yesterday, and what can we do to help, if anything?
I'll quickly share real quick because I'm so new to network marketing. I joined because, one, I couldn't work when we shut down because I'm a hairdresser, and of course I couldn't work. But number two is I've been looking for a while for something, but I just am not into selling stuff. So that's why I liked iBoomerang. So for my goals, I mean, I don't know how to build a business. I don't know anything but COVID building. So, I mean, I'm a real chatty person. So I can't wait for us to be able to go chat, because even when we went to Cancun, I was stuck in an airport for 4 hours and I was handing out and chatting with everyone with every time I was doing a shot of tequila. It was great. So, but my goal wise for 3 years, I don't think it's unrealistic, Glenn. And you talked about, I mean, no, for me to be a millionaire in 3 years, I don't think I'm going to be there, because that's not on my goal list. I didn't write it down. So no, it's not going to be there because I wrote down something else. But I do see it. I'm only 48. So by the time I'm 65, I don't see why I can't be one, but not in 3 years. So I don't know if I'm not being realistic or unrealistic. Does that make sense?
No, I think that's very realistic.
So I put
mean,
down to make $40,000 a month in 3 years. And I feel I can do that. I feel I should be able to do that with the tools that we've been given, especially if the vision is going to move forward the way they say it's going to move forward, because I have quite a few customers already. It's just building a team now for me.
I think it's very realistic. So what are you going to do this year?
Oh, I have it broken down to a T even before I even worked with you guys. So starting for the 90 days, by the time, well, I have it down till July. I've broken my goals down. So by July, I'm going to hit Sapphire. So
Okay.
in July. But by March, I'm going to hit executive director. By this month, I want to be dual qualified, because I've just started building a team. So I'm working very hard this week to get my last person signed up.
Awesome. Congratulations. So
Yeah.
so what is your primary marketing strategy?
I talk to a lot of people on Facebook. When I first started, I reached out to everybody under the sun who I knew and vomited this business in their face. So they're kind of, but the funny thing is some of them are coming back and asking questions now, because they're seeing my consistency. I'm pretty consistent with all social media platforms, starting with Instagram all the way to 2 Facebook pages. So, but also really connecting with people and showing my side of me. I'm very interested in what people have to say. I do like listening. So a lot of my conversations come down to conversations, and then they branch out. But they're still slow go, because like I said, Cancun was my first real start that I started doing this. So we've been back how long?
2
Right.
weeks, week and a half,
So,
not quite 2
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah. So my goal is to grow slow and steady. I don't need to go fast, because I don't want to sign someone up and they get thrown under the bus. I want to coach, mentor, and build their foundation and help them understand the building blocks, you
Mhm.
know, to build a house. I don't want to get blown over.
You,
So
you
that's
know,
my- Yeah,
there's
that's
an
fine.
old, there's an old saying that slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that because I'm not in any, you know, and as I'm building, I have I mean, once we can hop in our car, like Maggie was saying about COVID, I mean, COVID might be here for another year. Realistically, we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be in the same place next year. So if we sit here and say, what if, we got to adapt to what's going on right now in a way. And I really feel that way. And I've totally adapted to it. I don't even think twice about COVID. The only thing that kind of drags me out is I can't go even out to a restaurant right now where I am.
And that's that's your local government shutting you down. It's
Yeah,
not,
it is.
you know,
Canada's really shut down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're like a third world country over here. So yeah, so that part, yes, I do miss that part of that. But the fact is COVID is here and it could be here for years. We don't know. It's like living with a cancer. So if you get diagnosed, you're going to fight like hell to survive. And if you don't get a free and clear, but your cancer living with it, you're going to still go on living. And that's how I think of COVID. I am going to live through COVID and I'm going to grow through COVID and I'm going to learn and I'm actually going to become really well off through COVID. Because
and
I have time to sit here and do these.
Whereabouts in
If
Canada
there
are
was no
you?
COVID, I'd be working. Pardon me?
Whereabouts in Canada are you? I'm from Canada. as
Oh,
well.
I'm in Calgary.
I'm in Vancouver.
Calgary. I'm from Vancouver. So I grew up in Vancouver, Ladner, BC.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that what we have right now is everybody wants to get back to normal. The reality is this is normal.
This is normal.
There's going to be a new reality.
There may be a new normal in 6 months. I think that
No, I'm
I don't
sorry.
know.
This is excessive. This is really excessive. I've been
Oh.
like,
Sylvia, I'm not
reading and watching.
arguing that I'm
Yeah.
not arguing that at all. But the
here in
reality is,
Quebec, like Calgary, this is excessive. It's really
Hey.
excessive.
Yeah.
No,
Hopefully it will bounce
you're
out.
an
but-
asshole.
Huh?
Hello?
We're all waiting in line back here.
Oh,
but
This is really excessive. What we're living actually, this is like everything is closed.
yeah, Montreal,
you-
Quebec is even worse than Calgary, I think.
Yeah, you have to do that to get it underhand, and then
Yeah.
plus that and the vaccine numbers will come way down. And
No,
But we're
this
with it
is
for a while.
excessive.
Anyways,
I don't know,
enough-
but the reality is, and I think the point, Sylvia, was the reality is, no matter how excessive it is,
it's reality.
we have to adapt to it
Yeah.
and work with
Totally.
it.
That's perfect. Adapt. I'm good with that. But it
Yeah.
is excessive.
Well,
No
our
contest.
government is, you're right. Closing down things is not the right way to handle it. Unfortunately, Canada is not.
It's totally crazy. It's
Yeah,
totally
if I,
crazy.
when I
It's
get a chance
excessive.
to move, I'll be moving. I don't.
I
think-
I agree completely. I disagree
But we
I
can-
disagree with that. Sorry.
The thing about the vaccine, some of us cannot take vaccines. It would kill me. So, I have to be more protective than others. So
Yeah.
I stay in. Yeah. I order everything in.
Okay,
Occasionally
It
we'll
is.
go
So-
for a drive in the car,
Let's-
but we won't go out just because we get cabin fever.
Yeah, absolutely.
let's pull it back to, I mean, we could probably, if we want to have a COVID session, but the reality is, I mean,
That's how
I'm
it
sorry,
is.
but the reality is, and Tara said it as beautifully as I can say it or anybody can say it, and this is, we have to adapt to what's going on right now. I mean, the reality is, we just have to adapt to it, or we won't succeed. So
Absolutely.
anyhow, anybody else want to talk about or want to chat about what they're working on in terms of their 3-year plan, and 1-year plan, 6-month plan? Anybody have any more comments? Betty?
Well, let somebody else know.
I actually, when I looked it over, I actually printed out 2. One to start, and I've started it, and I'm, just writing down things that I'm thinking of, and then because I want to tweak it later, you know, as I think of things, but it's kind of a rough draft, I guess you'd say, now, while I'm thinking about things and I'm thinking about the different parts of it, the different, you know, things that we need to decide on and how we're gonna do this, that I think the first time I go through it and fill it out, it's not gonna be the final draft, you might say, the final.
It absolutely better not be.
No, because I think the more I think about it, the more I think, and the more comes to my mind about what I want to do, how I want to do it, things I need to change or I get to change. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm actually on part 3 of my rough draft. But yeah, it's I've never done anything this extensive before, and yeah, I really had to do some thinking about it, you know. It isn't just off the top of my head. It's something I had to really think about.
That's awesome. That's exactly what it's meant to do.
Mhm.
What it's meant to do is get us thinking about these things, because we just normally in everyday life, we don't take the time to just think about what we're trying to accomplish. It's that simple. We're all guilty. We all do the same thing. So let me ask one more question real quick. Has anybody identified a mentor? Who's your principal mentor? Somebody that you're really going to follow and do what they do? Nope, nobody yet. Betty? No. Nobody?
Well, Johnny Wimbry, would like to get his book, but I'm also very fortunate that my husband is very goal oriented and he follows his routine very closely and is way more successful than me because I'm not as persistent and consistent. So if I can just follow because I know he does all his like meditation in the morning, his whole morning routine and all his own affirmations, and he's a coach as well. So he follows through on everything. That if I follow through as well, I know that I will be successful because he is. But Johnny Wimbry as well, I'd like to, because I like Johnny Wimbry's tone of voice.
Energy. Mhm.
Sometimes he's too much in my face because he, like you, I don't want to do it 24/7, and I know that he sounds like he does.
Well, that's right. That's right. That's his life right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You
Betty,
know
you
how
were. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sylvie.
I call it organic. Yeah. Organic. Yeah. I feel like I'm a more organic person, so I can like.
Betty, you had your hand up. I can't hear you at all now. Can't hear you at all. Can anybody else hear Betty?
Nope.
We've lost your audio, Betty.
Oh, poor Betty. Oh, it's just talk louder, maybe.
I think we heard you a little bit. It might just be a loose connection, Betty. You don't know. Okay. Well, then let's wrap up for today. Tomorrow, as I promised you yesterday, tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about the correct word is visioneering. It's engineering a vision. And remember the idea that something cannot materialize. It can't manifest into our material world unless it has first manifested into our spiritual world. Everything is created twice. The first place it's created is in the mind. The second place is in our material world. My mother used to say, I'll believe that when I see it. You understand? So you laughed. Who laughed? So
Yeah.
you understand why she never believed
Because you
it.
have to follow through and do it.
Well, you have to see it. You have to believe it in order to see it.
Yeah.
You can't see it first. You have to believe it first.
That's true.
And that was the fundamental mistake in that thinking.
Mm,
If you wait till you see it and you say, well, when I see it, I'll believe it, it'll never happen. You have to believe it first. It's created in your mind. So I want to talk to you a little bit tomorrow about how to create an image in your mind and hold that image and bring that image forward. The process of actually manifesting from our imagination to our physical reality. And this is deep stuff. By the way, there's a whole lot of people out there in the world that throw out terms that say, well, this is quantum mechanics, this is quantum theory, blah, blah, blah. Most of them don't know what they're talking about at all. I have an extensive background in the sciences, much more extensive than I'll bother to bore you with right now. And I've studied quantum mechanics extensively and astrophysics and other things that are the esoteric side of our world. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit tomorrow about visioneering. And by the way, this is a topic that you can actually find on YouTube. Bob Proctor teaches it. His CEO, Sandy Gallagher, teaches it, et cetera. So, and it's really important stuff. It will help you to create a vision of what you want to accomplish and to hold that vision so the universe can cooperate with you and begin to bring it to you. Does that make sense?
Yes, this is like a whole other
Did I
topic.
freeze?
No, you froze.
The
Yes,
screen froze, but it'll be back.
we can still hear you. But this is
Yeah.
like a whole other topic, past goal setting
Well,
that you talked about. I love it. I'm so interested in stuff.
it
like
is, it, to me, yes, it is, but no, it isn't. Because to me, if we set goals, but we don't achieve them, then what have we done?
that. Right.
disappoint ourselves.
What do we do? What do we have to do to help ourselves bring these things into reality that we want to accomplish?
Okay,
So,
cool. This
I
is,
just happen to think it's an extremely important piece of the process.
I think so too.
So, any rate, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
So, does anybody have any questions for today? And that's it. Let's call it a day. I've got another meeting at 4:00.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Thanks, Lynn.
Bye-bye.
Sylvie, did you have a question?
Yeah, so is that the vision board you're talking about?
Well, a vision board can be a piece of it. But no, it's more than just a vision board.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you.